Hi, my name is Ellen, and I recovered from long COVID. And today I want to talk about what brain retraining is. And first, I just want to say that I'm not a doctor, that this isn't medical advice, it just comes from lived experience of someone who has recovered using this mind body program. So, and I also want to say that you really can't start brain retraining until you've had all of the tests come back normal, that there isn't any structural problem that's going on, that your tests and scans and blood work are coming back normal, but you know that something is still very wrong. So, and so what brain retraining really is I didn't think it was going to work, to tell you the truth. I thought, no way. How could this be possible by just changing my thoughts or looking at sensations in a different way? How could that actually help me recover when I'm having all these debilitating symptoms all over my body? I used to think that the symptoms where I would feel them, like the full body inflammation or the headaches, or my heart that was so irregular, that all these were coming from the place in the body where I felt them. But I've learned that all of our pain signals are actually interpreted in the brain. So it's really interesting to note that, it's how that we might be looking at them, that we might be perpetuating them just by, what kind of thoughts we're having or what emotions might be arising or how we're interpreting them as being dangerous. Because in doing so, we are telling our brain that we are, that these sensations that we're feeling are not okay, that they're dangerous, and that we need to send out some reinforcements to protect the body. So our pain, is kind of like a danger signal. So if we put our hand on a hot stove, it's going to send a signal of pain to our brain so that we take our hand off. And again, so that's the brain interpreting the putting your hand over a stove as dangerous, and it wants to protect itself as it has for years and years. Same with if we get a stomach ache from eating some random berries in the woods. Our brain interprets it as unsafe so that, we get that stomach ache so that we don't eat more of them. But sometimes our inner alarm system, that brain signal, can get triggered and stay on instead of turning off after the threat. It could be triggered by a virus or maybe by the vaccine. So these are different ways that internal alarm system can stay on, and it can really dysregulate our whole nervous system, those dysautonomia symptoms that we're having. So, and this generally, when we're so dysregulated, the state of our nervous system is generally on in fight or flight, and that's chronic stress to the body. And when there's chronic stress, then the brain releases different symptoms and signals to the body to protect it, like adrenaline or like cortisol. So, and that can be the cause of some of our symptoms, like digestion issues or the inflammation or, the heart rate variability, and brain fog. So when we believe we're in danger, we send those threat signals to the brain, and then the brain turns the signals out to protect the body. And so this is known as the pain-fear cycle. And so what is brain retraining? Brain retraining is actually sending safety signals to the brain. So you're interrupting that pain-fear cycle. So the only way to interrupt that cycle is to send the brain different messages. So in brain retraining, we stop, we calm our body down. We usually start with breath work, because breath work is the first way to communicate safety from the nervous system to the brain. So just by breathing and relaxing our body and getting it into a rest and digest state, The nervous system is telling the brain that we're okay, that everything's fine. So it doesn't need to keep sending out those signals to protect the body. And during somatic tracking, which is a practice that you do in brain training, we're actually taking a look at every different symptom that might be happening, any sensation in the body, or even any emotion or thought that's coming in, but we look at it from a lens of safety. So we can look at anything that's going on, any emotion, any symptom, and we can know that it's safe to look at it and follow it. We're never trying to get rid of it, or because we wouldn't need to get rid of it because it's a safe signal. It's just that our brain is misinterpreting it as dangerous. So what we do in somatic tracking is we just sit in this really calm and light kind of outlook and attitude, and we notice what's happening, and we just look at sensations in more of a neutral way. We recognize that they're here. We watch them come and go. We might notice if they intensify, notice if they subside, or any changes that might or might not happen. It doesn't really matter. But we're just noticing that it's safe. And when our brain sees that we can look at these and be okay with them, notice that they might be really uncomfortable, but that they're still safe to be here because they're a misinterpretation. We're telling our brain that this sensation is okay and allowed to be here, and that we no longer need to send out the threat signals to make it go away. And that naturally turns down the volume because our brain feels safe with it. It's kind of like an itch, or maybe a pressure that we might have from even sitting up against the back of a chair, something that's not dangerous. Like when we're sore from going to the gym, the next day we don't, freak out about the different muscles that might be flaring up a little bit. We just say, oh yeah, it's sore. And so we never have to send more signals to our brain to get away that threat. And this is the same thing we can do with the signals that are coming in, to our body and to our nervous system. We can say, it's okay. They're allowed to be here. And it's very interesting when you do this consistently to notice how the brain does interpret these as safe. And it does turn down the volume. And eventually I was able to really eliminate all the different symptoms because my body felt safe. And it's not a quick fix. Some of the tools that I teach are, help right in the moment. This is more of a, 6 to 12 month type of, brain retraining, because you're retraining all the neural pathways. You're using neuroplasticity. So instead of just going from pain in the body to fear in the brain to more signals coming out, you're sending a new and creating a new neural pathway to sensation in the body, safety. The signals don't need to come out to protect the body. And that new neural pathway will become, over time, the preferred and new way of looking at the pain, the way the brain interprets it as safe instead of dangerous. And those symptoms can go away. So that's how brain training works. And if you give it a try the somatic practices, try the program. There's lots of people doing it right now, and it's becoming a very big in a lot of different programs. So there's more science. It's all science-based. Dr. Jaron Sano, if you want to read his book, The Mind-Body Prescription, or Alan Gordon, The Way Out, you can learn more about brain retraining. So thanks, and as always, I wish you the best in your recovery. And if you want to leave any comments, please do. Namaste.